And you're going to be hearing lots of background noise because this topic is it's part of what this topic is all about. How to, in a bit, balance some things, maximize our time, the resources we have, and in all of this, just to boost productivity. So, just little story about myself for those that don't know me, and I think this is the first time I'm going to be sharing this with the foundation. Okay, so I am an engineer, but I'm currently doing my MSc, and it's like a quite packed course where you have to do modules and all of it. And in between all of this, I'm married. I have two kids. So most times I get to ask, people get to ask me these questions. How do you do all of this? I work, I will run the foundation, my kids, balancing family life, and every other activity I do. So I think this book is actually something that has helped me. And I believe it will help most of us if we try to like put into what Brian has actually written down. So I'll talk about the foundation now, but before then, I would like us to stay safe. Please, in as much as we want to learn from this, it's better to be in a safe position because for me, safety first. Like I said, I'm an engineer, and that's one thing that is very important. Please be aware of your environment. Make sure you're in a quiet, distraction-free space. And please, if you are not speaking, try to mute your mic so we can maximize this opportunity because of the noise. Like I said, forgive my background noise. I had to distract my children with something to give me time to do this. Then please do not share your video. I even myself, I don't think I want to share my video because I want us to like focus on what we are talking about so we can gain a lot from it. And if you are using a hands-free, please, as much as possible, try to please, as much as possible, try to use it at a minimum volume so you don't like destroy your eardrum because there's a limit to how much we should actually use these things. Then, if you're driving, please try as much as possible not to watch this. You could listen, but be sure that you are not being distracted. So, next up is for those who are new. I would just like to tell you a bit about Mr. Beast Foundation. We are a registered non-governmental organization with CSC in Nigeria. And we do lots of activities, but we are majorly centered around SDG 4, which is good and quality education. Then we do things around no poverty because we do entrepreneurship training. And these skills you can see from the pictures where women are taught several things. And it's not just women, youth, and we get interest from men too. And we are actually very open to they being a part of us. Then SDG 17 solely, yes, we are open to partnership. We do lots of partnership with energy, with several others. And our vision actually is to empower the next generation by propagating education. And when we talk about education, it's formal and informal. So it's like all encompassing. Then our mission is how we do what we do. We reward academic excellence in students, and this actually started out in Ibadan, and we are still on it. We, like I mentioned earlier, vocational skills for women to empower them, and this would actually be a source of income for the family to also encourage them to get their children to go to school and support through career development. And this is one of what we do. A part of it is also the mentorship program. The application closed out yesterday. So the team is going to be putting in a lot of efforts to select the best mentors and the mentees who have applied. So I hope for those that have applied, you look out for when you get your mails and hopefully you'll be among the selected few. So our story so far, I talked about what we've been doing. 2019 was actually the year we started fully and we were able to do lots of stuff. We empowered 1,000 students with vocational skills. That was in the school where all of this started. Three principals from three different schools in Ibadan were actually sponsored to go for a training. to help with school management and all of this. Then that year was the COVID-19 year. So we were able to give nose marks to students to actually support their learning. Then in 2021, we did a partnership with a school in this slum in Lagos. I can't remember the name. So we were able to give them supplies for students because it's more like a free school. So, and you know what it looks like in that kind of environment. So we provided them with facilities. Then we partnered, like we did lots of collaboration in 2021. And in 2023, we've been able to impact 78 students. Um, and we partnered with SPUI. Also, we speak to students on the assembly grounds just to encourage them to take academics seriously and different entrepreneurship training, fashion designing, catering. And we also partnered with Selfless Service and we got a partnership award for that. Then 2025, which is our year of mentorship and big vision, over the years, we've empowered 68 women, and that's the ones we empowered directly. But outside of that, we've done almost 200 people and collaborated with KOA and Rural Foundation. So because there's a wide gap in this CBT exam, and I don't know if some of you know that WIAC is now going to be CBT based. So imagine having students who are not fully empowered have to do the exams with people who are opportune. So we're actually trying to fill that gap to train students for free and get them ready for these exams. And over 3,000, even more than 3,000 students, I think almost going to 10,000 have actually benefited from our mentorship program, the online sessions we do, and so the scholarship opportunities and several things we share. So if you want to be a part of this, you can follow us on social media. I'm going to share the handle later on. And thanks to the volunteers who recently signed up, we would be working together to get all of this. So now we are going into why we are here. So I hope, please, if you have read this book, can you just show? I want to see like a show of hand. So I know how deep I will be going. So okay, I see one person. Who is that? Okay, Sekina. Who else, please? If you read the book, just let me know. So I know maybe I have to. Okay, yes, Ibukun is here. Anna is here. Any other person? Okay, so let me start with Anna. Can you tell me, maybe from your own perspective, why Brian used the word frog? Anna, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here, ma'am. Good morning,
Okay.
everyone. Okay, ma'am. From the book, I don't really like get the idea of the why he used frogs because in his books he mentioned tadpoles and frogs, but I don't really know the reason why he used frog. But if I want to like state it for my own way, frogs. ah, I don't think I know the reason why he used frogs to like.
Okay, do we have any other person that wants to share? Sekina? Okay, yes, please.
Okay, so I think the reason he used frog is because frog can it can maybe I would say because frog is kind of like one irritating and something we would want to like we don't want to see it sometimes. So frog in the sense that you mentioned something like doing the biggest task on the list. So the frog is something we don't want to see. We are kind of like irritated with it. So we don't want to associate with it. So I feel like that's why I use frog. And also I think frog is kind of tadpole is the baby of frog, right? So frog is bigger than tadpole. So eating the biggest and the fattest Doing the biggest and the fattest tasks on the list, I guess.
Yes, yes, that's actually what I think too. Because like you practically said it. Like frogs are obviously nobody wants to eat a frog. Imagine you telling somebody you are eating a frog and you feel like, oh no, it's irritating. So you want to get done with like you want to do what you exactly what you need to do to get off this frog. So that's why you use like the context of frog, how to eat your frogs and everything. So, and talking about how to eat the frogs, he was majorly talking about eating the biggest and the ugliest frog. So imagine you have a big plate and you have to eat the frogs like compulsorily. This is a literary context. So don't say no, I'm not going to have to eat frog. But this one is like you must eat the frog. Like the tasks you have at hand, you have to do them. So how do you do it? So his own context is get done with the biggest and the ugliest, then you become less irritated. So others will be like, oh yes, if I have completed, if I've done this big one, then it's easy for me to like eat either the tadpoles or maybe the ones that are quite small. Yes, thank you for sharing, Tekina. So yeah, I talked about how to eat, talking about how to eat the frog. He explained several principles, but one thing I kind of saw was basically, you know what your goal is, know what you want to do. What you want to do is to eat the frogs. So the next thing is what are the steps to eating this frog? You have to okay, maybe the frog is in a bowl, you have to put it in the plate. From the plate, you need to get your cutleries, you need to know how to like dissect it. So for me, what I practically picked from it is eating this thing in bits. You cannot go one very big frog and just put it in your mouth. The next thing I'm sure you're going to choke or you get nauseated and you just like throw it out. But you still have to eat this frog. So the question is it easier to just swallow a very big frog or to eat it? So what I picked from it and what I think I've been able to apply is cutting these frogs into bits. So when you cut it into chunks, like maybe cubes, if you even want to swallow it, it's easy to swallow. So relating this to how we do our tasks, you know everything you need to do. You know, sorry, you know your tasks, you know how you want to do it. The how big it is I think the end goal where you are going to, but how you are going to achieve it is you cut it into bits. So I will not say too much so I don't like go into other steps. So do we have anyone that can actually talk about the 80-20 rule? Because like I said, he mentioned lots of rules. So um, I think Anand said, okay, we have Baraka here too. I think Baraka has also read the book. So, do we have anyone amongst those who have read the book that can explain what this 80-20 rule is? And maybe how to use it? Have you ever applied it? Did it yield that results or something like that? Okay, Anna.
Okay, ma'am. So about the 80-20 rule, it basically stated that like 20% of important tasks actually makes it to like get 80% of results. So you have to like focus more on those 20% of important tasks that you have to do so that you can get 80% of the maximum results that you're expected to get from them. So I think that was like that was the basis for that 80-20 rule. And if I've applied it, oh no, okay. I don't I would say yes in a way I've actually applied it because if I want to like start talking from my academics aspects, I would say yes, I've applied the 80-20 rule. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so can you give us like an analogy how you actually applied it? in your academics because it's something that can help.
Okay, ma. Okay, so okay, let me go back to when I was in 300 level. So seeing my 200 level results was like a big um off for me because it was very bad. So I had to, like, in my 300 level, I had to focus on the activities that would like give me the results that I was looking for. So those activities were like, okay, because I was still managing my leadership position at that time. So I had to, like, okay, in the daytime, I know that, okay, daytime I'm very, very busy. So ninth time is like the only time I can study. So I had to like bring in going to night classes during the night so I can like focus more. So that night class was like the major thing. I was like the important task for me then that I had to focus on, going to night class to read. Then apparently, thank glory be to God, my 300 level result was like way, way, way better than my 200 level result. So I had like 80% of 100%, not 100%, let's just say 80%, yes, of results that I hoped for in my 300 level. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so let me just share my own. I'm going to be using something very relatable, something everybody can relate. Okay, so for me, Anna already explained what the rule is about. Identifying those that 20% thing and how to identify. You can only identify it if you've actually written down this thing you want to do and how you want to do it. So you now look at all of those things and check, okay, what are the most important things that I would do that would help the remaining things that will make others easy. Okay, so for me, I'm someone that, well, I say I like to cook. I like to eat good food practically. So when I want to cook, I know it can be quite tiring because I don't like to wash plates. So what I do is I prep the things I want to use to cook. So I can, maybe I want to cook fried rice tomorrow. Today I can decide to chop all my vegetables because that is exactly the most important thing in fried rice. Without the veggies, then rice is just rice. It is not fried rice. So, but knowing that that would take a bulk of my time, and I know I still have other activities to do. I either have to study, I have to take care of the kids, I have to or maybe go pick them from school or something like that. So today, I make sure I go to the market and purchase everything I need, then chop them and probably put them in the freezer or something. So the next day, I'm just waking up to boil my rice, then I add my veggies, put the seasoning and all of it. So that's 20% of the tax I actually wanted to, that is very important, was those veggies. Then the remaining 80% that will help me achieve 100%, I did it the second day. So you need to like know, that's the first important thing. That thing you want to do, what is it? If you don't know that thing you want to do, then you're actually going to be beating around the bush. That's why most times for the mentorship program, we actually start out with creating our vision board. When you create a vision board, it's a place. I think the first time I did this, I don't think I've stopped doing it. I did the first time in 2018, yes, with Site of Petroleum Engineers. So we did this thing and then it was more like on a cardboard. So we were told to take a picture of it and maybe use it like our wallpaper. So when you open your phone, you open your laptop, it's something you get to see every day. Or you even just paste it somewhere in your room and you look at it. So you can have loads of things you want to achieve. Yes, I want to travel. I want to bag a degree. I want to do this. I want to do that. So the ones you know that are key, we have lots of things we want to do. But the ones that are key is what will be the picture, the pictorial image that you can actually see. Then you pick those goals and write them down, the steps you write them down and identify the ones that are solely important to help you achieve these things. That, okay, like Anna said, if I look for the perfect time to read, it would actually help my grade, then help me to manage my time. Because I will not lie to you, procrastination is like a killer you know what's a killer of joy? It's a killer of achievement because if you are open to procrastination if you don't plan your activities. So I will not dwell too much on this. So I would like us to go to the next rule, which is quite easy. And I'm going to open it for more than two persons to actually talk about. So there's this rule called the ABC 1, 2, 3 rule that Brian actually like talked about. How what's this rule? Explain the rule, how to use it, and the application. So let me look out for who wants to start. Baka, Sekina. Is Anna still on the call? Okay, Anna. Aside any of them, if you are aware of this rule outside, maybe you did not read this book, but maybe you know what this rule is, you can actually unmute your mic. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, ma.
Okay, good morning.
Okay, so the ABCD rule is like a rule that helps you to like prioritize your activities, like from the most important to less important. So for the A tasks, they are the things that you must do. They are the hard task, like the biggest task you have to complete. And for B is something that you should do, not as important as A. And C is the one that it would be nice for you to do. It doesn't really have much consequences if you don't do it. While the tasks are the things that you can delegate out, you can let other people do for you so that you have more time to do the important tasks. And the E tasks are the ones that you can completely eliminate, like you don't have to do them. You can just leave them and do the other important ones.
Okay, thank you. Then how do we use the 1, 2, 3?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay, so have you applied this rule before?
Yes, but not consistently. But yes, I did one time. I
Okay, and
had a lot of
how
things.
was it?
Okay, so I had like some tasks to do. I can't remember, but I remember that like the ones that I knew that okay, someone else can do for me. Like, for example, in school now, I know that sometimes I don't have to wash my clothes. I can give it to the laundry women to wash. So I know the time that I'm supposed to use to spend washing my clothes, I can use it to study or to do other assignments that I have to do. So I know that that one I'm like, let me say delegating it. And for like E, like for example, maybe there is maybe like a outing that my friend invites me to, and I know that if I go for that, I'll not have enough time to study, or I'll not be able to do my exams. So I'll just let them know that I'm sorry, I cannot come. Not because I didn't want to come, but because I had like some other important things to do. Okay, mas, that's just
Yes, you actually like explained it further. Do we have anyone that can maybe add the 1, 2, 3? So
So I
okay,
can't
I think
really
Sakina.
recall,
Okay.
but I think 1, 2, 3 also is more like the ABC, like
Yes, you're on
prioritizing
track.
the number one is the most important, then not so important, less important.
Yeah. So, okay, let
That's
me
what.
just help you, but you will now share with us your experience. So they're actually together. After you've identified those A, B, C, D, we know that most times we have, okay, let me use for example, I am schooling, I am maybe working, then I have my kids. So all of this can actually be a part of my A, but which one comes first? So we now break the A into A1, A2, A3, A4, like that. Then the same thing with the B. So that's the way of you. So your A1 is your biggest and ugliest frog that you have to do. then your A2 like that. So maybe you have a task, you guys need to do a presentation in the class. You know that is actually very important. Then you now have another assignment also for the same class, but you are told to submit it next week. That assignment can be like your maybe A5 because you have other things still targeted towards that A. So imagine you going to do your assignments that you are submitting next week first, and you postponed the slides to like A5. That is you not prioritizing what you are supposed to do. So at the long run, you are either not going to give that slide your best, you're going to just rush it. So, and obviously, when we are giving presentations, you are graded on different things, maybe the time you used to present and all of this. So imagine not doing that early, your productivity level is actually going to be very, very low, and you're not going to give it your very best. So is there anybody that, okay, so let me just go over the rule, just like Baraka said. Your A, B, C, D, E. A is like the most important, B is also important, C is like, okay, maybe not as important as A and B, but your D, you can actually delegate it, and your E, you can eliminate it. So then you now break all of them into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like she talked about using our clothes, maybe giving the clothes out to somebody to do. It's same thing in the office. There are sometimes we have like maybe interns, or maybe you have volunteers. You feel, yes. I think, yeah, we practically did this when we're planning the conference. We had volunteers, and we already did like a structure of what our flyer was going to be. Then it was passed on to the volunteers to actually impute the data and do all of what is needed. So at that point, initially, designing the flyer was like an A. We did the templates, and that A at some point became a D, that the completion could be done by somebody else. So those are like ways we can actually prioritize and all of these things. Do we have any other person that wants to share how this rule has actually helped, even if you've not like read the book before, but with we explaining what this rule is about? Was oh, okay, okay, please go ahead. Yeah, Jumbo, go ahead.
Okay, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Okay, so how have I applied this as you've explained, this ABC and 1, 2, 3 rule is during my IT work. So what I do is first early in the morning I write out what I want to do in work. Then that is for the A1. Then I know that if I'm done, my A2 is usually based on the applications I want to do for that day, the number of applications I want to submit. That is how I normally prioritize using this tool. That's how I prioritize my tasks.
Okay, nice one. Thank you for sharing. So I highlighted those ones because they are like the core rules that were stated, though Brian explained lots of several tips. So I would like us to like talk about the tips that resonated with you, and maybe how you used it, or how you think you will use it, or maybe lessons you learned from the book. So
Okay, ma. So my key takeaway from the book is the part where he said we should, if you have if you have two if you have two frogs to eat that particular time, or if you have two important tasks to complete in a day, that we should start with the one that is more hard, that is more difficult before moving on to the next. So I've taken note of that, and I've started applying that um to my daily life, and it has been really, really helpful because I try as much as possible to deal with the difficult tasks, the one that is more demanding and time consuming, so that I can always find a way to complete the rest when I'm less busy. So yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before I call on another person, I'm going to also share one other thing is one thing we don't prioritize that we don't think affects how we function is the way we eat. Our eating habits, some of us don't like, we just maybe eat junks, we don't eat healthy, you don't rest well enough, you don't energize, like you're not energized, you don't exercise. So look at when you don't eat well, you're not going to have that energy to do these tasks you want to do. You're not sleeping well. Normally, it's advised we sleep 8 hours a day, but I know most of us don't sleep 8 hours because even the if you sleep 8 hours, you're going to lose out on something. So sometimes at least like 6 hours, or when you need a rest, like power nap, sometimes just take that power nap. You might just 20 minutes nap might actually do a whole lot for you. And okay, let me hear from Bushra before I go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. So one of the tips that stuck with me was by the yard it is hard, but inch
Hmm.
by inch anything is a cinch. And it resonated with me because when you start the task, when you start it little by little, day by day, even if this task is a very cumbersome task and you tend to like take it every day, do the simpler tasks before you move on to the hard task, it becomes easier than how it used to be. So this is one very tip that stuck with me. It's another one again. Um the more you learn and know, the confident and motivated you would become or feel. So this one too is like the first tip. It's just basically telling us that, oh, when you learn or when you are stuck with this particular knowledge and you intend or you are motivated to like learn it every day, it is something that becomes easier for you to be able to like understand, and you'll be confident in it basically. So those are like the two tips that stuck with me.
I like that the inch by the yard by yard, inch by inch. I can't remember the exact quote, but yes, and that also has to it can also be related towards consistency. Like when you're doing something continuously, with time, if you are spending maybe the first time you're spending 1 hour, the next time you do it, you actually spend less and you'll be more productive because you're already a master and you've identified maybe the gaps you have or something like that. So I think another thing is your environment. Your environment actually matters. Like you wake up in the morning, you could maybe now I know a lot of people work from home. So maybe your workstation is all clustered, loads of books and all like that. Like your brain is trying to align how that table is supposed to be arranged, and you are also taxing that brain. Like naturally our brain is multitasking because you're thinking about food, you're thinking of how to make money, you're thinking of everything. Did not give that brain like a breathing space. So, like setting up your environment actually has a large or wide effect on productivity. Like, or let's say even someone that is working in a toxic area, you get there, you get to the office, you are first pissed off and all of it. So automatically you've told your day that you've told yourself that that day is not going to start in a good note. Like just for fun sake, look at these memes we used to share. We'll be like, our Monday is here again, and they're dragging you to the office. Those kind of funny things. And you already told yourself that that Monday is not going to be what it is going to be. And when it's Friday, everybody's screaming, thank God it's Friday. And we are like looking forward to enjoying the weekend. So imagine the table turn and you want to, let's say you want to eat like, how will I put it, pasta outside in front of everybody. You don't have your fork, you don't have maybe the knife, you don't have your cutlery. You're obviously not ready. The environment is not suitable for you to eat that food. If you were in your home, obviously you can decide to use your hands to eat your pasta. Nobody's going to disturb you. So, like, just using those contexts, those things to look at how it will boost your productivity. Like the tiniest things you think would not affect you. Look at eating well, look at exercising. If you are tired, like just step out and take a walk. Look at That's why you see a lot of people like take walk, maybe go to the park, go to a nice serene environment, or just even take fresh air outside sometimes can actually make you feel better. Or some people actually work with music also. They just listen to something, or you listen to motivational quotes, listen to maybe your religious words, something, those things like that actually helps you maybe rewire, then you go back to being more productive. Okay, so please, I would like to hear from others. Thank you very much for sharing, Bushra. Let me identify those that have said they read the book if they are still on the call. I think, yeah, we still have Baraka here. We have, who's
Yeah.
that?
Yes,
Okay.
Barak. Thank you very much, Ma. So for me, what like stuck to me was like thinking on paper, like having um your task and your goals written out and like having the clarity of what you want to do. Because most of the time we have a lot of things we want to do in our head, but not having it written down just kind of put it like something that is not so important. But like you having it written, for me, having me like having to write what I want to do and like thinking out what I've done, like makes me want to go ahead and do, okay, yes, I've done this. Okay, yes, I can do the next thing. Okay, what's next for me to do? Or like days when, okay, I want to do this, it's just in my head. I don't have that visual, like I'm not seeing what I want to do. I don't even know what I've actually done and how much I've done. So like thinking on paper is one very important thing, like I learned. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I think thinking of pay on paper is actually very important. The moment you write down that goal, it's actually, well, I don't want to say 50% that you are going to actually do it, except you now like put it aside or you did not follow up. But the moment you actually identify and you write it down, okay, let me use myself as example. I am someone, when I am reading, I always like to write whatever points I get from whatever I read. And you see that point I wrote down, if I go back to the exam hall and I have more than enough time, it is easier for me to actually remember than that one that I just read and looked at the screen. So the fact that I wrote it down with my own hands has given me, I'd like, it's more like I'm writing it down in my brain. Say I'm writing down in that paper. Then if I imagine when I now go over it or I read it all over again, then it has actually stuck. So that's one thing that has actually worked for me when it comes to writing down goals. And one thing that a lot of us don't know is it is very, very okay to say no. Like, we live in a world where most of us want to like have loads of things to do. Yes, you want to volunteer, you want to this, all of these things are actually very good because most times we want to have maybe we don't want our CVs to be empty. We want to maybe apply for graduate school. You want to apply for graduate school and you need to show that you have volunteered or you've been a part of an organization. But in the course of this, we tend to have too many things on our hand and you become tired, you will not even be productive at any. But when you identify those that are actually very beneficial to you and you filter out the ones you maybe do not need, you would be targeted, you'll be focused, and you put in your very best in that. When I was still in university, I used to like, I was everywhere. I was the vice president in my final year alone. I was the vice president of Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers. I was the vice president of SPE, that's Society of Petroleum Engineers. I was the head of female Muslim students in my school. I think before then, I was a member of the like student union council, but the judiciary part or something I can't remember. It's parliamentary council, yes. So I think when I was getting into my final years, like I had loads of all of these things, and I just told myself, no, you need to focus on the ones that will actually be very, very important to you. So I took my religion first. I took the ones that are related to my career, which is the one for chemical engineers and the one for petroleum engineers. Then I focused on my academics. So those were the ones I saw as okay, yes, These ones are very important. I think every other one, they can actually like go. But I would just tell them, if you need me for maybe advice or something, maybe available and some of those things. When I graduated also, the same issue, because I did not start working immediately. I was volunteering for everybody. This one, what everybody wanted me to be a part of. And at some point, I just had to learn to say no. Like, I'm very sorry. I am fully occupied. I don't think I can do this. Sometimes when you say that no, even when you say that no, you feel this kind of satisfaction within yourself that God, that's another big tax I would have just put upon myself. And you now start struggling, especially if you are someone that you are keen on giving your very best when it has to do with these things. Okay, so please, any other person? I think Sekina is still on the call. Then Anna is also still on the call. Who else? Please share the tips that actually stood out for you. Okay, so while they are getting ready to share theirs, another thing I would say is, okay, yes, Anna, please.
Okay, ma'am. So what stood out for me was the part when Brad Tracy actually like encouraged us for us to like be our own cheerleader. So in terms of like any situation, we should always look out for the good in every situation, and we should focus on problem rather than we should focus on solution rather than the problem. So that was like my biggest takeaway. Then another thing was when he said he talked about prioritize. We should prioritize every task that we have, that we want to do, that we have to do. Then also planning too. We should always tend to like plan, so you can plan your day, like you can plan your day the day before that day. Yes, you can do your planning, or very early in the morning you can plan your day too. So those were my biggest takeaway. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Planning is actually very, very important. Like, if I am traveling next month, I can tell you that I can pack my traveling bag. I can start picking my traveling bag from today. That at some point I would not use some things because I feel if I use them, I might forget. So the only things I know that like when I'm packing my traveling bag, kind of just have this picture in my mind. Okay, when I wake up in the morning, what do I do? Down from okay, yes, brush my teeth, take my bath, everything. Like I kind of picture it that way, then I identify the things I need. That is how I write down my list. Then I pack my bag. So, and yes, I'm a Muslim. So most times my hijab, my this, like I pack everything, maybe because of the colors. I make sure I don't forget anything. I pack them in bits and I put them in my bag. Then I tell myself, okay, I think the remaining clothes in my wardrobe is what I'm going to manage, spending the time that I get to travel because I don't want to forget anything. I can sometimes be a perfectionist. It's actually has its own downs, but sometimes it has its own ups. So one thing I am learning, and for those who are perfectionists also, is it does not have to be perfect before you start. The moment you are waiting for it to be perfect, I'm telling you, you will get nothing done. I have been there. I am still there and I am living. I'm going to leave you guys there because no. It's not a good place to be. Like you want to do something and you are like, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. The moment you keep saying you have to get this before you do this, you are not going to start. So start with the minimal thing you have. Then going forward, you can like look for ways. You can even when you start, that's when you see people that resonate with you, have done this thing you're doing before, then they could actually give you advice. And it's even easier for you to seek advice when you started something. So one thing again is you actually have to put pressure on yourself. Maybe this is what some people will not want to hear. You think that all of these tips is for you not to like to do these things selflessly. No, if you don't discipline yourself, just like Anna said, self-discipline. If you don't discipline yourself, you would not be able to achieve all of these things. And be your greatest cheerleader. Work on your self-esteem because when you work on your self-esteem, it's easy for you to motivate yourself. Like you're looking in the mirror and you're like, go girl, like you are going to do this, you're beautiful, you're this, you like, and be action oriented. And I like highlighted all of these things. Don't be solution oriented. Don't focus on the problem. Focus on where you're going to. The goal is actually the most important thing. And any other tip from now, okay, let me just move on. So even if you've not read the book, I know there are tips you would have been using, to in your day-to-day life on to achieve your activities. So please, I would like everyone to share, and I'm going to be calling names, and we would like you to share one or two things. It doesn't, this one now is like an open book. We're not using what is in Brian Tracy's book, but I would really advise that you read the book. I can share, let me see. Will I be able to share it? I'll try to see if I can share it here so you can download. It's actually a very, very good book. And it's easy, like just 113 pages. It's not loaded. The fonts are friendly and all of it. And it's my kind of book. Okay, so I'll start with Oluwapelumi. So please share how maybe tips you use during your day-to-day life that has actually helped you achieve your activities. Hello. Maybe he's still trying to unmute his mic. Let me move to Bushro.
Okay, so for me, it has to be when I have a task to do, a task that I might get really overwhelmed doing. So from the book, right, it says that when you have like tasks that you would get like overwhelmed doing, you should just drop it and focus on the one that you'll be able to like accomplish immediately. So that's the one thing that I have been working with, and it's quite helpful.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. So I'll move to Baraka Adebayo, but I think I saw to Baraka earlier. Hi, Baraka.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Productivity tips.
No, it does not have to be from the book. Just something you have tried that has worked for you. And if it's from the book, fine. But like open, this is like open to everybody.
Okay. Well, let me, since I'm a student, for me, one thing like that I do that has really helped is that having it like for the tasks that I have, for example, studying now, having like a specific time assigned to the task I want to achieve really helps me because I know that at this time, like for example, I want to study not even for exam, just like on a daily basis. Okay, from 9 to 11, like that's my study time. Like any other thing aside that is not welcomed. So like for me, having is like a time assigned to what is important for you to do, like goes a long way in like helping me achieve my task. I hope you get.
Yeah.
That
Thank you. I think that's key. I think Brian said something around that too, but he said identify your most productive time during the day. Like some people will say they are a morning person, some will say they are maybe a day person. Some people prefer to sleep and like sometimes you work way into the night and all of those things. So I think yes, you really have to understand yourself and pick the best time for you. Um I was going to call on someone. I think the person left. Okay, so Mukhtar. So I believe we have Jumbo and Mukhtar in the same place. So I would like to hear from both of you.
Okay, ma, thank you, ma. Yeah, this is Mukhtar. One of the things that worked for me from the book is actually planning my day ahead, like planning what I'm going to do the following day, in a night before the day. And then the other thing is working on active procrastination, like
Mm-hmm.
doing like focusing on something that is more important and leaving behind those one that has lower value. I think that's basically what I've been working on, and it has been working for me seriously. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I like that active procrastination. Like, Brian has actually given us the go ahead to procrastinate. But yeah, not to procrastinate on just anything. You should know the task that's okay, yes, is less important, then you can like procrastinate on that. But maybe by the word procrastinate, I hope we don't now use the same attitude or the most important ones. Okay, so Jumbo, let's hear from you.
Okay, ma. What I've been okay. I have something to say, and also um something to say that I'll need probably advice from anyone. So first of all, what I've been doing recently is I think how it relates to the book is the writing on paper basically. So each week I normally do it weekly. Then um, any um, any task that I have that is impromptu, I'll just do that immediately. But I normally have major weekly goals that I want to achieve. So I write them because in my office we have sticky notes. So I write them on my sticky notes and I try to accomplish them every week. Then the one I'm not able to accomplish, I move it to next week. But I try as much as possible to stick to the deadline or time frame. Yes.
Okay.
So and I don't know if it's advisable to do this digitally because I know that there's a sticky note on laptop, I think, or on laptop
Mm-hmm.
too. But I don't know if it's advisable to do it digitally. But regardless, I feel that the physical one is more better because as I'm looking at it, I know that I'll have to complete this. So it has really helped me. And one other thing where probably where I need advice is in the aspect of how will I put it, of seeing some applications and trying as much as possible not to apply regardless of the benefits. Because I noticed that I don't want to engage myself in too many things because at some point it's this year it was very, very overwhelming for me. I won't lie, but I just had to give up some things. But someone was advising me that I should not give up some things, but I should delegate it to some people. So I don't know how advice can come in on because I'm already planning how my next year will be. I am really working on maximizing my time very well and also ensuring that I become productive, especially in my academics. So I need advice, especially from Anna, who just graduated, and any other person that can share on how I can maximize my final year because I want to do my best and I want to get the best results so far. So I will need advice in that area. Thank you.
Okay. So I think Anna would attend to that later. Then if there's any other person that wants to share, let's close out on this first. Thank you. So we have Omodeoye. I hope I got that right. Omodeoye Taufik. Please share productivity tips that you use in your day-to-day life.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Actually, I didn't know the meeting was holding by 12 p.m. in the afternoon. I thought it was 5 o'clock in the evening. So I just got in around that 12:30. So when I met you guys, so everything is fine actually. And I don't know where you are coming from, but let me just tip, put a little tip of what I can say about myself as well. For me, what came is I believe in myself. That's the first thing. That in everything, I have the capability, I have the brain, I have everything that God has given to me for me to be successful. So when I see people that are being successful, what I used to do is I look at what they do. So and I try to discipline myself on what not to do. And as the last speaker said, I get myself engaged in many things sincerely. But now I've been pruning it down to certain things because I think I won't be focused. And when you put all your eggs in, when you put your eggs in different baskets, you will not be focused. And for you to achieve it, it's going to be a bit difficult because you won't know which one is going to be fruitful. So all I can say here is that for me to be productive daily, I need to sleep at least. Let me say a nap in a day, at least 15 minutes, no matter what. Even if I sleep for 12 hours overnight, for me to be productive daily, I just need just 15 or 30 minutes nap in the afternoon. Then anything I do after then will be perfect.
Mhm. Thank you for sharing. I think that power nap is one thing that a lot of people need to like look for how to key into their time, and discipline is also very important. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Um,
God
Sekina,
bless.
I think, yeah, you're welcome. So, Sekina,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. When I talk of productivity tip, I think one thing that makes me productive is having a clean environment. So, and I know that having a clean environment would sometimes require me to do a whole lot of things. So, I give myself like a time range. Okay, maybe 2 hours. Every cleaning I want to do, I'm doing it at that time. That usually boosts my productivity throughout the day. And also, trying to work early in the morning. Also, I'm usually energized at the time. So, though I'm still trying to because the cleaning I talk about too, I like to do it in the morning because when it gets to like maybe afternoon, I'm not usually energized to do it again. So one thing I'm struggling to do is balance having a clean environment with actually doing the real job. So I think I'm going to just try to use the ABC rule in order to get that back. That's what I
okay, thank you very much for sharing. I like that clean environment. I like that clean environment. Like I like the fact that everybody's coming from their own perspective. So it's not just doctored or something that is. So do we still have Anna on the call? Maybe she can start with answering Jumbo's question. Or okay, I think she's not on the call. Okay, so let me just say um like the first thing you need to do is you need to prioritize which is the most important. Like for me, I think sometimes when I see some applications and I'm like, okay, yes, this maybe you want to volunteer with an organization that is like maybe let me use for example World Bank, and you are still a student, your opportunities would be limited if you do not graduate with a very good grade. So instead of like focusing on that World Bank application, why don't you focus first on getting a better result? And within your school, there are lots of organizations you can actually volunteer with. And most of them will do the same thing. That's the plain truth. You just need to tell yourself the truth. Pick on the one that would like I use myself as example then. I pick the ones that would solely help my career at that point in time. Then, if you say you want to delegate, let's say you are volunteering with an organization that requires you to actually do a graphic design. The reason why they accepted you to do that graphic is because they've seen your your concepts, they've seen your past designs, and they like the story you tell with it. So imagine you delegate. You're obviously not going to be able to, the person would also obviously not be able to interpret the same thing the way you would do it. And if you're not careful, it will give you double work because you will want to check it before you submit it. And at the end of the day, you have to like either redo the entire thing because it's even difficult to correct a mistake than when you want to do it all over again. So I think you just need to discipline yourself and let yourself know that at this point in time, this is what is important to me. Write down everything you want to achieve. Okay, yes, I want to graduate with a very good grade. What do you need to graduate with a very good grade? List out everything. And while doing this, I want to also volunteer, list out everything. So look out for that one organization or maybe two, depends on how you can manage it, that would you would be able to work on. Okay, for me, when I told you I was volunteering with all of this organization, okay, let me use the SP for example. At that point in time, SP and NSCH in my school were practically non-functional. So we were trying to bring it back to life. So we were doing these things based on our own either discretion and advice from people. So we were in control, we were able to manage this. But imagine something that is already structured. You are given a task weekly, you have to complete it, you have to do this, juggling with your academics. I'm telling you, at some point, like you said, it will be overwhelming and you would not be productive at all. And that thing that is most important for you, you would actually fail at it if you are not careful. Because I remember having a discussion with one of my lecturers, and it was like, at this point in time, your education is most important. Every other thing, let them go or look for how you can manage it. But if it is something you can delegate, maybe you want to write a survey now, you can maybe, like for me, what I do is I try to send a voice note to whoever I want to delegate that task to. So the person can see from my own point of view because I might not be able to fully express it via text. So if I send it as a voice note, you understand. Maybe I'll now tell you to say what you get from it, then you can put it through. So maybe it's easier to do those things in terms of maybe you want to deliver an item, tell the person to go and drop it for you, or you want to collect data, you want someone to like write a survey that you can just read through and correct. Those things are quite easy to do. And now today we have artificial intelligence, though it has its own sides and it has its own downsides also, but there are some things you can do. Okay, then you talked about using digital tools. Okay, I'm sure most of us know LinkedIn now. We post on LinkedIn, we do all of these things. At times, when something comes to mind, I open my notes on my phone, then I use the voice, the record. I don't. Most of you are aware. If you open your notes pad on your phone, you can actually jot things down using the speaker, the voice stuff. So I just press it and I just say what I want to say. Most times it will not. Obviously, we know the way these things are. It might not get it exactly how you want to do it, but to an extent, it has reduced the bulk of work that I want to do. So I just correct it when I put it there. Or at times, I write the list of what I want to do. Maybe I want to go for shopping. I write it there so that maybe I don't forget my notebook or something. Or at times, I even write it down on paper and I snap it with my phone. So I have it digitally. So if my book is there, if my the other one is there, fine. I also use this stroke maybe to cancel out things. So like I use both paper and my phone, the digital one, to maximize my activities. So either one that works for you, just know that you are disciplined enough to go back to check this thing, make sure you have completed the task and know next thing you want to do. Because that's actually the major reason for writing these things down. Know the order of priority. Know what you need to start with and what you need to like let go of. So, like I said about that being a part of too many activities, I will advise you because at the end of the day, you would need maybe a letter of recommendation or reference from this organization. So imagine you did not give your all in everything. You yourself will even be reluctant to actually ask for this letter because you know you did not give your all. And we all have our standards. Some people are 10 over 10. If you don't give 10 over 10, you will never be satisfied and you will continue to beat yourself up over that thing you did not do. So, and that your mood is going to affect your other activities. So if there's any other person that has one or two advice for him based on that, please share. And do we have any other questions from anybody too? Maybe there are tips, people, maybe there's anyone that has worked around something that can share how they've actually done done this. So Jumbo, please let me know if that's at least to an extent good enough.
Yes, ma, you have answered my question very well. Thank you so much. I really do
Okay,
appreciate it.
you're welcome. Okay, please work on it because productivity is key and we all want to achieve a lot of things. Like we have loads of stuff we want to achieve. Everybody wants to be rich. That's the most important thing. That's actually why we are working. That's why we are doing all of these things. But when you give your best, it's easier for you to like um when they say when you walk, when you talk the talk, and when you walk the walk, you talk the talk, or how did they put it? So, and I think was it Bushrotu that also talked about when you do things consistently or when you do things in bits, it's easy for you to complete them at the earliest time and you become very good at what you do. So, not to take much of our time, the plan was to do this for 1 hour, and I think we have stepped out of our time for like 10 minutes, though we did not start at exactly 12. So thank you everybody for joining. I would like to say you should connect with us. You can send an email to us, info@mrbeastfoundation.org. If you have questions or something, and maybe you want us to share the book with you if you need it, then connect with us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and you can have a rewatch of most because we actually have videos on YouTube that talks about how to plan your goals, how to design your vision board, and even time management. So you can actually go to our YouTube channel and watch these things because they've been fully explained there. And we'll try to upload this also on YouTube. Possibly something you want to go back to pick some of the tips. And for those who have read the book, I would say you can actually go over it again, write out those points that are key to you, how you want to utilize it, which part of your life you want to utilize it, and see how all of this would help and boost your productivity. So thank you again for joining and have a lovely weekend. Bye for now.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, Baraka, yes. Sorry, there've been a lot because of the planning of the conference and all of those things. So I'm sure those are one of the things that I would work on. Because I think, yes, that session was actually very good too. The session on emotional intelligence. Okay. So thank you, everybody.